Yume Nikki is unlike any gaming experience I have had the pleasure of playing. Its uniqueness, its jarring visuals, and imaginative worlds and characters make it by far the most... Sorry about that, I caught a little British in my throat. And also I had a cock in my mouth. Yume Nikki is truly the most strange experience I've ever had playing a game. My brother had recommended it to me, crowning it as one of the greatest games he had ever played. To anyone normal, this is a praise that transcends invitation, something that almost begs one to give the game a try, as they might just be missing out on an experience like no other. I, however, said that. Because usually any fanbase that claims to have the quote-unquote best game that no one has played is full of BS. This is a sentiment that goes outside even video games. The best movie, the best comic series, the best hentai. You get the idea. Though, similar sentiments had been shared to me about Resident Evil 4 and the manga Berserk, which to this day hold a dear place to my heart. Also Metamorphosis. Curiosity and intrigue eventually took hold, and I decided to give the game a try, expecting to find some Mad Father or the Crooked Man type RPG horror game. But I was so very wrong. What awaited was the most strange and surreal experience I've ever had playing a video game. If you're someone who's watched countless of videos on Yume Nikki, like I have, then trust me when I say this won't be another one of those videos that discusses the exact same topics over and 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 over again.
That is crazy.
While certain points of interest, like the theories on the game, will be brushed on, I don't intend to make this like every other video that discusses the game. Instead, I want both those new to the game and fanatics alike to be able to gain something new, be it small even, from my personal take on my experience playing this incredible game. Also, I don't plan on discussing the non-canon sequel/remake thingy Dream Diary, nor the also non-canon manga. Oh yeah, and spoilers. Our journey starts with our character Madotsuki standing inside her room. And I'ma just take a second here to vent. It's pronounced Madotsuki. For some reason, so many people struggle to say it properly. It's not Madotsuki, it's not Madosuki. It's Madotsuki!
All you know is that this character's name is Madosuki.
It follows the story of a young woman named Madatsuki. You are a girl named Madatsuki.
It's about a hikikomori girl named Madosuki.
You begin the game in an apartment and take control of the main character, Madatsuki.
Now, let's all say it together. Ready? Madotsuki. Muy bien. Very good. Exploring Madotsuki's room, there isn't much to do. We can walk, and walk? Oh, and play a game. I'll be back for you. When trying to leave Madotsuki's room, she is clearly hesitant. Actually, she outright refuses. What's with the worry, Madotsuki?
You are listening.
Well then, I guess we'll, just go to bed. From the moment you hear this dream-esque music play, you know things are different, even though our environment is seemingly the same. Turning on the TV now no longer plays video games, just a creepy eye looking back at you. However, it seems now our companion Madotsky is now much more willing this time to explore what's outside her cramped room. 12 doors, all which hold environments and scenery I've never seen in any game before, with an otherwise unassuming appearance. This is the Nexus, and expect to see this place quite often, as it serves as our main hub as we cross ways with whatever is held beneath these doors. I suppose we'll start here. I regret my decision. This is the numbers world. At least that's what fans have dubbed it. Yeah, this game doesn't really title anything. It's locations, music, or the characters we come across. Even the notorious creature Uboa isn't canonical in regard of its name. But we'll discuss that thing later. I will, however, throughout this video, stick with the fan dub names, simply for sake of calling it something. As the name implies, this world is filled with numbers. Numbers you may think you have to memorize for something, as I did, but you don't. They're just there. Many paths are offered to us, aching to be explored. Some that lead to real points of interest, and others, nothing. This goes for all worlds, or doors for clarification. Paths will expand and go on and take you so far down this rabbit hole that it's like getting lost within a dream. Go in one direction for long though, and you'll end right back up at where you started. This can be very jarring for first-time players, and even sometimes annoying. Though this feature has become a bit of a staple of the quote-unquote Yume Nikki game. Without it, the game would feel almost like it lost part of its soul. Wonder what's in here. Well, can't say I expected much. Oh, hello, guy. This is an effect, the only real goal of the game being getting them all. This one, obviously, makes you into a lamp. Its purpose? Well, what a lamp does, dumbass. There's 24 of these suckers in total. Now 23. So we've got a while before we get them all. Returning back to the numbers world, Madotsky decides to search upwards, finding well, this thing. Don't know if there's a name for it, but I doubt it. Of course there is. Well, go on and see what awaits for us within the zipper tile, Madotsky. Darn. Yeah, there are enemies in this game. Or, well, an enemy. Simply put, if they catch you, you'll end up in a confined area where there's nothing you can do. Looks like it's time to wake up, Madotsky. Feel any better yet, Madotsky? Maybe it's time we go outside. No? Alright. Back to bed it is, I guess. Let's try this door this time. A bit too dark for my taste. That's better. Oh, hey! What's up, guy? Wanna tag along? I think I'll call you... Ghost Mod!
I'm retarded.
This dark world doesn't offer much in terms of exploration. Its scenery, however, like most worlds in Yume Nikki, is what is truly grasping. Ashy faces, some of which look as though they're crying, and handprints trailing the ground make this world feel... somber. The music adding to this uncomforting feeling as well. And the only item or effect there is to grab is... a knife. A knife that which does nothing of value in this game. You're completely allowed to kill any creature you see, save for few, but what's left behind is... nothing. It just kills, and the screams that are left behind are chilling. I'm lying somewhat, though. There is apparently a 1 in 8 chance that money will drop when you kill something. But the value of that money is to buy sodas to increase your health. Health that is pointless as nothing kills your character, suspected only to be in the game for no other reason than that RPG Maker, the program used to create this game, forces you to give your character health, as well as a name for its character. Oh, you leaving, Ghost Mod?
Alright, do you have a small PP mod?
Hell yeah.
Alright, well, I'll see you around. So, where should we go next, Medutsky? This is the block world, and there isn't much to say about it in and of itself. I mean, the area shares a resemblance to that of a computer motherboard, which is neat. Instead, I'd rather take this time to reflect on the music of Yume Nikki. You've already been listening to it during our journey, so I'm sure it won't surprise you when I say they're all 2 to 3 second loops. Now, I won't be one to tell you it's secretly genius or anything like that. However, there is a charm to it that any loop that would otherwise claim to be music doesn't have. Actually, I wouldn't even call it music. It's more ambience, if anything. Like hearing rain pitter-patter against the window of your room, or a fireplace crackling as the flames rise and fall. The sound drifts you away to the point you almost forget it's there, its very presence alone immersing you, at times calming, others apprehensive. But its existence alone holds you in a feeling the game wants you in, only for it to suddenly stop. Almost catching you off guard, until a new loop plays, and the cycle starts again. The music might as well be how you introduce someone to this game. Someone first listens to it, they wonder, what the hell is this? How does anyone like this? But as they keep listening, and listening, they find themselves getting lost in it, without even realizing it. No, the soundtrack, even if you can call it that, isn't genius. What it does, though, is its job.
I'm feeling a, 10 on this record.
Oh man, time for a bathroom break. Ever been on LSD? What am I saying? Of course you have! Who hasn't? This is the Neon World. Definitely one of the more visually interesting areas in the game, and holds by far the most NPC characters. This actually reminds me, if you've ever been in a discussion on Yume Nikki, I'm sure you've heard about LSD Dream Emulator, an old 1998 PlayStation 1 game that actually shares a lot in common with Yume Nikki. You see, Dream Emulator, as I'll now refer to it, is, as the name implies, about dreams, but to a very fascinating extent. Apparently, the entire game was based off of a 10-year-old dream journal by the elusive Hiroko Nishikawa, who, if you look up, you won't find much information on. The adaptation of said journal was by Osamu Sato, who disliked the idea of games and what they were, opting instead to use games as a platform to spread contemporary art. This game hosts 14 locations, with almost 500 audio tracks, that range from relaxing to bizarre to literal human noises. The game is most fascinating for the fact that its NPCs you see in-game will likely never be seen by another player. There are so many, in fact, that the game's own wiki states, "Warning, this page needs support from the players and is not finished yet. It'll probably become the largest page in this wiki someday." You can probably understand where the link between the two games is brought up. Yume Nikki is host to a multitude of secret events that only some players will find, based on percentage albeit. The music, as already discussed, goes from soothing to this. Yume Nikki has 12 doors to explore, Dream Emulator with 14, but most alluring is the similarity between the two creators, or, well, what we know of them. As I stated briefly, Hiroko Nishikawa, the brain behind Dream Emulator, is relatively an enigma to the internet. And then again, we do know his or her name. The creator of Yume Nikki, however, Kikiyama as she refers to themselves, is an utter mystery. So much so that when the non-canon sequel of Yume Nikki Dream Diary, was being made, people thought they had been dead for the past few years, as the original Yume Nikki was made back in 2004 and the non-canon sequel 2018. No gender, no name, makes one game and is gone forever. We have no explanation for what the game is, what story it's trying to tell us, nothing. It's even believed that our companion here in Modotsuki was never meant to have a name. You may remember when I talked about the health system of this game that I stated it serves no purpose, and that it was most likely put in for no other reason than the RPG maker requires it. Well, the same goes here for Modotsuki and her name. Looking into it, her name translates to windowed, and is clearly not a typical Japanese name for that reason. However, the name seems intentional, as she is our window, or lens, we look through as we experience the machinations of Kikiyama's own supposed dreams. Anyway, I went on a bit of a tangent there. What have you been up to, Modotsuki? Ah! Well, Modotsuki, it seems your sins are soon to catch up to you, as hell soon awaits. What? Thought I was kidding? Okay, maybe not that dramatic. But this place is literally hell, as the fans have decided to dub this endless maze. This area is where you'll easily find yourself getting lost the most with how meticulously crafted it feels it was made to frustrate you. Sometimes, you'll even find yourself seeing something of interest in just the corner of your eye. But attempting to actually reach that area is nightmarish. But don't worry guys, I'm a veteran of this game, so we'll be out of here in a jiffy. Okay, I'm lost. The mural world. A quick way to grab 2 easy effects. Though I always remember this place not for its surface value, or rather what lies below inside the sewers. I can recall my first time arriving here. The music sent chills up my spine. This slow rise into a harsh and abrupt release of sound creates the sensation that someone is creeping up behind you, just waiting for their moment to pounce. Black voids litter the walls, interacting with them causing a display of a brief image of unsightly weirdness. It is here, unlike most areas, that I don't feel isolated. I feel unwanted. But it is what comes next that cemented this game forever in my mind. It isn't much. There isn't some obnoxious jump scare, or the game breaking the fourth wall. No. It's better. The game, after enveloping you in its oddness, leaves you there to wonder to yourself, what just happened? What did I just see? No answer comes back though. The journey simply continues. This is the true beauty of Yume Nikki. Not what immediately comes after you open one of the 12 doors. It's what's within when you try to go deeper. And these deeper locations can get weird. Really weird. I think it's maybe about time we leave this place, Modotsuki. Hey, this place is a lot better. And we have a cool Fisher dude here with us. Now this is a lot more cheerful. Snow World is one of the more remembered locations of the Yume Nikki fandom, probably because it leads to the most famous event and loved character. Here you can grab the Yuki-onna effect, or the Snow Woman if you're some degenerate lowlife. And here, you can run into one of the fan-appreciated characters. Kamuroruko Kamakruk, the Sleeping Girl. The place people definitely know this world for the most, though, the Pink Sea. This area is definitely more serene than others. The baby pink color choice, the odd but relaxing music, and floating balloons left array. Little would you expect it to be host to easily the most notorious creature, event, thing there is in this game. Yep, here we are, the famous Uboa. This is gonna take a good minute. A creature that has a 1 in 64 chance of spawning, based on if you stab the girl inside, Ponako as she's been named, and turn off the lights as you re-enter the house. On my first time playing, it had to have taken me about 50 attempts to get this guy to show up, no joke. Second time playing though, 2 attempts. 2. Anyway, it's hard to understand why this character, out of everyone, people gravitate to and generally know the most. Even more than our compadre over here, Madotsky. This character wasn't even in the original version of the game. He was added in version 0.08, almost an entire year later. From what I understand, Uboa's very existence was how many non-Japanese people got to know about this game. In fact, I was one of those people. The only thing I knew about this game, before I even knew the name of the game, Yume Nikki, was Uboa. But I'm not hating. I like Uboa. It's just surprising really how so many people would recognize an NPC before the main character. Anyway, you'd think with this character being so admired and well known, there would be a real lot to him. Nope. He's mostly just there to freak you out. One of the only real scares of the game. You can touch him. However, the only thing that happens is certainly strange and off-putting, but this is it. And wherever you walk, the world just loops. Many theories of Yume Nikki do involve this area, though that will get its own dedicated time for later. Get us out of here, Madotsky! Hey, it's daytime! Maybe we should head out, Madotsky. And you're going back to bed. This world... Hold on. I just need to. I have suffered for so long, knowingly playing this game without the bike effect, just so the footage wouldn't be spammed with me riding on the bike the whole damn time. Well now, it is time! Oh, yeah, Graffiti World. This place would be whatever, as there aren't any deeper areas to explore besides 1 and has 0 NPCs, but you see this? Yeah, exactly. Best world. Don't at me, Yume Nikki fans. The one pathway we are given, though, is quite interesting, I'll admit. An elevator that leads to 2 separate locations depending on which side of the escalator you descend. The bottom taking us up to a bright and cheery rooftop. The music here has always been one of my favorites, as there aren't many Yume Nikki songs that have a more upbeat overtone. It is here you can also go on a bit of a flight. If you have the witch effect, that is. The top path in comparison is a complete juxtaposition. A gritty and dank mall underground, with humanoid-like people who don't care for your presence. Trying to interact with them gives off the impression you're just annoying them, as a glitch-like sound scolds you for attempting to do so. And if you whip out the knife effect, they outright avoid you. However, we're not here to bug these people. We have an effect to get. Nice! Why don't you give that thing a spin, Madotsky? Candle World is one of those worlds I always forget is in the game until I play it again. But not in a way of dislike, just forgetfulness. You know what? If I do remember correctly, it does have this really cool section I always liked. Yeah, here! And I'm pretty sure if we keep heading up, it takes us to an even cooler... Okay, next video. You know, for how much flack hell gets, it can lead to some of the more exciting points in Yume Nikki. For example, the subway. There's also the other side of the docks which it can take us to. It's an upgrade. Honestly though, it's incredibly impressive just how interconnected every world is. There are such little limits. Right when you feel you're completely lost, you end right back up at the main side of a familiar world. A commendable feat for a one dev team. Hey, what did you find over there, Madolsky? I just won't ask. Oh wait! We've almost arrived at another one of my favorite locales of the game. Just a little bit further.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill.
Ah, the Sky Garden. Such an idyllic scene. The moonlit night sky, the meditative music, and an all but familiar area, not out of the realms of reality. And yet, it is only a 2-panel spot. The strange but powerful effect Yume Nikki can have, I suppose. Once again though, the harshness and severity of our situation relapses upon us, as our ruffling and unperturbed flower causes our location to 180 from the tranquil Sky Garden into the ominous and foreboding Ghost World. As Japanese culture would elucidate, the white lily is symbolic of death, fitting as it being used for the method to arrive here. But at least we got another effect. Yay. Alright, how many effects do we have? 14? Not bad for not looking up any guides. Alright, let's head back in, Madotsuki. Hold on. I should mention this now to avoid any confusion of my footage on screen, but there's a glitch in Yume Nikki to quadruple your speed, and it's not hard at all to do. Simply sit on your chair in the dream world, open your menu, and equip the bike effect. Get off your chair, and voila! You are now Anime Lolly Sonic. Shield Folk World. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably noticed by now. A lot of the worlds share a trend of black background with a parallax image floating behind. It's a common complaint for many. The only issue I have with it is it doesn't provide much to discuss. It's just this. I mean, the Shield Folk people are cool. It does, although, have a neat little invisible maze, of which I have no idea how you'd figure it out without a guide. This place can also take you to a really jarring 8-bit section. Not something I was expecting to see my first time playing through. These 8-bit sections, yes there are multiple, have a generally more friendly vibe. The music somehow manages to convey mystery, adventure, and wonder, all while still restricting itself to small segmented loops. It sort of makes it feel like a game, as weird as that sounds. Let me clarify. Up until this point, the game has constantly thrown curveballs and in such sporadic and unique ways. To go to something that feels more at home is honestly kind of shocking. Don't get me wrong, we're still doing what we've been doing from the start, searching for effects, but I don't know, it just feels different. The eyeball world is very blunt in its grotesqueness and all-around distressing nature. Plucked eyeballs, severed hands, weird mouth creatures, and decapitated heads make up the floor beneath you. The limb of a leg can be seen hopping around, as though it were trying to find the body it belonged to. In the background, what is it? An Aztec-like drawing of some man, with the tongue of a snake, holding a severed head while smiling, staring right at you, like he wants to see your reaction. Stabbing the eyes causes them to change color. Good to avoid getting lost. That is, if you don't remove the knife effect, otherwise it will revert back to normal. Interacting with the mouths will make them kiss you. I don't know how to react, I've never been kissed by a girl before. With so much body horror, it's only fitting that the only way to go deeper is entering inside a gaping jaw. Footprints are all we have to follow, but it's strange. As soon as we head to the second panel of this area, the footprints immediately are heading backwards. Be careful here, Merdlitsky. I've got a good feeling we're about to see something truly terrifying. Guys, you won't believe this. It has a black background. I find this world kind of funny. Not because of anything it has, but that the wiki page itself literally states there is little of importance in this world.
The puddles are theorized to be in the game from the puddles from real life.
Alright, enough joking. This place does have some merit, I guess, as it does contain the umbrella effect, one of the only two actually useful effects in Yume Nikki. It does grant us passage to somewhere kinda interesting. The dense woods, as they're referred to, and the name is quite fitting. You can get to quite a few different areas of this place from the various routes you may take. You've already seen parts of some of the areas so far, but this place in particular, it seems a lot of fans like the most, even appearing in the really garbage manga. Huh? The hell are you? This Denswoods B, as it's called, holds one of the many other fan-admired characters. A corpse!
Choke me like you hate me, but you love me.
You know, I'm starting to get the feeling that the Yume Nikki fandom don't really have a lot of characters to like. Oh! It gives us an effect! Oh, well, I totally get it now. I mean, clearly, I was just blind and being stupid, frankly. Besides Dead Guy here, though, this place can also take us to somewhere else quite famous.
That's my mom.
Okay, it is White Desert time. Should I even say a fan favorite anymore, if everything is a fan favorite in the Yume Nikki fandom? From where we entered, we don't get to enjoy the full awe that is this eccentric, peculiar landscape. We do, however, get to see this.
Which is why I don't like the White Desert.
But the whole grand area? Masterpiece, masterpiece! It's just so freaking weird. I love it. The music is barely present, like we've reached an out-of-bounds area of the game. There are so many weird sights to see, so many fan-loved events and characters for us to find here. Like Monaco.
She's not too good with introductions.
And guys, the background isn't black this time. It's white. Honestly, I don't really want to show that much of the White Desert. Or speak about it, to be frank. I've always seen it as a reward for reaching it. So, I don't really want to take that magic away from other people. Okay. Last door. The Forest World. This area is probably where most people will start their journey, as it's closer to the door you exited from. This world has one weird thing going for it, and that's these ghosty dudes who incessantly puke. And if you touch them, well, yeah, you become the recipient of their neon-colored vomit. Sorry, Madotsuki. This place also holds one of the more famous effects, the frog, in which you can jump. Really just for aesthetic purposes, as with the majority of effects, but it's something. You know, this feels a bit too anticlimactic for ending our journey. I think it's time I discuss the secret events. Events that can happen based not only on RNG, but also where you wander. You've already seen some examples, like Uboa and Monaco, but there are still a few that spark some interest. I think we should first go check out Mars. You see, there's a random chance if you sleep in one of the beds inside the dream world, you'll be transported to a staircase in the middle of nowhere, with hands as the background and foreground. Descending brings us to two options to make. Enter the elevator, which will take us to the mall, or keep heading forward. Obviously, since we've already been to the mall, we're going forward. Unfortunately for us, a roaring fire blocks our path. Luckily for us, however, I have just the effect to take care of our problem. Extinguishing the fire, we're now brought to a whole new area with the last effect we need. Poop. But besides the rancid last effect, lies an open door ahead, which takes us to the spaceship. Deeper inside, we find a tall, slender figure playing piano by his lonesome. This is Sekon Masada, an NPC who, for some odd reason, people love to ship with Madotsuki. What? I mean, seriously, it's not even like the two share any romantic moments with one another. Nor is it even hinted at. I mean, dude, if you use the knife effect, Masada literally backs away from you in fear. He's not exactly trusting of Madotsuki. I guess every fan base has its cringe shippers. Anyway, I've always enjoyed this area. The music is so ambient, and though I risk of sounding stupid, space-like, and a neat little added feature, based on where you're positioned by the piano, a different note will play. And the general atmosphere just feels so zen. Also, Masada is a pretty chill dude, so bird up.
Hey, you guys are watching Bird Up.
In the room ahead lies a bed where we can fall asleep, doing so netting you a chance of experiencing something quite special. Except I, unfortunately didn't get it to happen. Yeah, like I mentioned, all of these secret events are based on RNG. This secret event in particular requires two good rolls. One for responding to the staircase after going to bed in the dream world. The second for having the event in the spaceship happen after falling asleep. It's an unfortunate but albeit unique feature to have in the game. Part of this randomness can make the game feel as though it were personalized for you. So, although I may have teased you quite a bit there, you can always look up the Mars event on YouTube, or give the game a try for yourself. It is free after all. Yeah, this game is free. It's actually what makes the identity of Kikiyama that much more fascinating, as this game they made wasn't even done out of monetary desire. It's just something they wanted to make. Strange, but admirable. Now, I still have one more secret event I'd like to show you before we head back home. You see, every time you first go to bed, a random chance is determined on if you can enter one of the zipper tiles in the numbers world. This will require the knife effect, as you have to cut your way through. But doing so brings you to, well, I'll let you see it for yourself. It's moments like those that stir the pot of theory craft. And boy does Yumeniki have a wide array of theories. Let me first ask you, after everything we've seen together, including all 12 worlds, and an abundance of deeper locations, did any of it make sense to you? At least, enough to try and understand a story from it? Well, some fans certainly think so. So let's go over some of the more popular theories. The first and by far most popular theory is the Madotsuki's assault theory. As it is believed, Madotsuki's lack of desire to leave her home is based on an assault she suffered sometime in her life. The evidence for this being the many monsters we come across throughout the game. The ovary monsters, as I jokingly call them, are actually believed to be a representation of an actual woman's ovaries. And the fact that one of the monsters looks at you right as you leave could be an indication of, well, being watched. Our opal Uboa is part of this theory as well, or at least the place he takes us to when we interact with him. In Uboa's world, we can see an odd-looking creature grabbing upon mountain-like structures in the background. Fans believe this is representation of a forced groping, the fact that it's a monster doing it only furthering that theory. There are also pregnant-appearing monsters, which fans believe imply an unwanted pregnancy, or fear of one. Even the game in our room, Nasu, is part of this theory as well, being that the translation of the name Nasu is eggplant, which in Japanese is a symbol for fertility. But what people point out the most, though, is the zipper tile room. As it is thought, the fact that one has to force open the door, and that doing so causes it to bleed, could represent a woman's hymen tearing. Not only that, but the phallic-shaped monster inside, Kyukyu-kun as he's called, creepily rubs the pole as you go upstairs. The door at the end of the hall and the odd figure within make people believe it is the head of a, well, use your imagination. Another fairly popular theory states Madotsuki has a murderous past, or has at least murdered an individual. The evidence for this is simply based on how unfazed she is to killing monsters in the game, and how the knife effect is useless to achieve the ending. Rather, Madotsuki's own twisted desire to kill drives her to commit such violence against otherwise harmless beings. Another theory believes Madotsuki is a hikikomori that uses her dreams to escape the sufferable and depressing reality she is in. And while these dreams are a form of escape for her, she still at times, due to her own psyche, comes across beings and locations that cause her distress and anxiety. The Uboa, Kyukyu-kun, etc. There is an abundance of theories, too many to count, some with relatively compelling evidence, others not so much. If you personally ask me, I believe none of them. Call it my own theory, I doubt it's original, but I believe Kikiyama, the creator, is Madotsuki. Maybe not in a literal sense. In fact, for some reason I've always pictured Kikiyama to be a guy. Nonetheless, my thought goes that Kikiyama is, or was, a hikikomori themselves, and that they would often sleep their dismal days away. In so doing, they found interest in their dreams. After all, Yumeniki's English translation is Dream Diary. Maybe they decided to make this game for the simple, benevolent reason of sharing their creation, not necessarily to tell a story. So many theories cherry-pick certain parts or events in the game to back up their theory. But when looking at this game, honestly, and without a preconceived notion of what to expect, it all means nothing. It's weird to say that aloud, especially with my past praises of this amazing game. See, I did it again, but even though I believe this game has nothing to say, no story to give, it does provide something that not every game can, and that's an unforgettable experience. For some reason, more than any other game I've played, this game I remember and think fondly of the most. And it's barely really a game. There's nothing like it. To this day, you wouldn't see a big studio dare to release a product even close like it. You're so often thrown into worlds of insanity, absurdity, some purely hallucinogenic, that small things like meeting a lone character in a quiet environment, or riding the train with a stranger become your fondest memories of exploring this maze of dreams. Even though this was the second time now I finished this game, to replay the ending, knowing what was coming, it was difficult. Difficult for a reason I couldn't truly understand why. What is it about a game that has completely random areas and set pieces, along with characters that serve no purpose, that make it so hard to say goodbye? Looking at the ongoing fanbase of Yume Nikki, I think it's clear why. Our interpretation of these places and characters. That all being said, I think why the ending was so difficult for me is because it's an incredibly abrupt and somber goodbye. When I first started replaying Yume Nikki, I'll be honest, I was just trying to gather footage and call it over quick. But as I kept playing and playing, reliving old memories and revisiting old faces, I felt a growing pain of melancholy as I knew what was to come. Not that the ending itself is sad, but the fact that it is the ending, a goodbye. Sure, I can go back at any time. It's not like the game restricts you like, say, Doki Doki Literature Club, but the purpose there was in playing has been served. And though the goodbye is hard, at the same time, it's never forgotten. Like any memory. Me talking about this game, trying so hard to go over everything of worth I could, I grossly feel as though I'm doing a disservice to this game. I know that sounds weird to say, especially since I've been talking about this game for well over whatever, but like I've stated, this game is best experienced with no knowledge. Though at the same time, this game doesn't have some huge outreach to the masses, so part of this discussion is needed, right? I know many fans of Yume Nikki get annoyed when people call it a horror game, but I say let them. That's what I thought. My preconceived notions of what I was to expect were immediately blown away. So let people be surprised. Let them have their expectations completely distorted. That's what this game does best. Well, it seems during this little chat, Madotsuki has already gotten everything ready for us. It's been a fun journey. At least, I hope it was for you. Let me give one last spoiler warning, as I strongly hope you decide to play this game now before you have the ending revealed, because the ending alone could very well deter you from playing. With that being said, I think it's best I leave the rest to Madotsuki. And to you, Madotsuki, thank you for taking me on this journey with you.
世界は僕のことなど無視をして何も知らずにそっと僕の心を錆びつかせる。もう君を守るなんて言えないな。壊れる僕は誰も信じられなくなる。誰も知らずにそっと雨に溶けてなくなるとか、そんなふざけたこと言えないな。回る回る回る回る回る回る回る。これで終わり落ちる